All right. So first, let me start with my experience in Henna Cafe. I mean, the idea is very, very lovely. Uh, I haven't done, I mean, much of volunteering with them, but like 3 days delivering the food, it was very good experience. I mean, the team was very organized, and I mean, the people who are leading the project, they really know how to manage things. Yeah. And about me, I've been doing professional storytelling for quite some time. Um, and basically, why I still do it uh, is that I see the impact on the audience, because I'm a student of literature, and storytelling is very, very much like reading a book, because reading a book, it gives you access to a lot of feelings and emotions and human experiences that you cannot go through in one lifetime. And it's the same thing with storytelling. It may give solutions, it may give hope, it may give happiness and sadness. So it's a variety of feelings and human experiences, even though the things that we tell about may not be true, but the experience is true to us as humans. And yeah, I have a story for the lovely audience tonight. But before, I would love to start, since it's Morocco British community, I would love to start with a poem, a Moroccan poem that embraces wisdom and conveys a lot of meaningful messages about life. It's gonna be in Arabic. There will be no translation, but if you really want the translation, you can contact me directly. كما قال يا سيادي سيدي عبد الرحمن المجدوب، شافوني كحل مغلف، قالوا ما فيا دخيره، وانا كي الكتاب مألف فيا منافع كثيره. سبحان بدل السوايع مولانا، ومخالف الظنون فيما ياتي، تبات واكحه وتصبح رويانه، وما هيجري على القلاتي، لا قنطه من رحمه الله هداتي. هكذا قدا وقدر حاج المولى على عبيدو، اللي جات فيه يا سيادي صبر، واللي ما صبر كاع عاش بيدو. قال لك اللي عنا بك عنا به، واللي ما عنا بك لوحو، اللي بدل في الطابق زدير ما كيشمت الا روحو. يا الواكل لحم الراس في البير لوح عظامو، الا كنتي جالس بين الناس دير يا سيدي لفمك الجامو. وقال لك اسيدي الصمت حكمه ومن تفرقوا الحكايم، كون ما قرقر ولد الحمامه كاع ما يجيه الحنش هايم. من زينهم النساء، من زينهم النساء بضحكات، لو كان فيها يدوموا. الحوت كيعوم في الماء، وهما يا سيادي بلا ما كيعوم. يحكى والله اعلم وقضى واحكم، انه كان في قديم الزمان وصار في العصر والاوان. This is a Moroccan version of Once Upon a Time, very long and poetic. So once upon a time, there lived a man. He was known by his cruelty. He was hard, very harsh to people, very mean. And he had a piece of land, a very big piece of land. He was a peasant. He was making a lot of money, but he's stingy. He has never helped anyone, and no one can ever take a penny away from him. But this man was gifted a very beautiful, religious, kind, tender wife. Her name is Aisha. Aisha would always wake up early in the morning, help the servants, help the people that work in their palace, ask them to pray, ask them to be grateful, and to always be thankful to God for life. But her husband is always harsh to her and mean. And one day, something told her husband to give her a gift. So he brought a lot of money and he invested it in a crown. He made a crown for her, a lot of gold and a lot of jewelries, diamond, pearls, everything precious. It was in that crown. Here, It's a gift, but at the same time, he wanted to save money. He had a lot of cash. So, so if he makes a beautiful crown and it's always on the head of his beautiful wife, that's good for him. So he gave her that gift. She appreciated the gift. And days passed by. One day, her husband was, of course, managing his piece of land. She heard someone begging and saying, "Oh, please give me something. Give me some food. May God give you back. Please give me some food or give me some money. May God give you back. Because if you give, God will give you back tenfold." As she heard this, it really rang a bell in her head. And she felt that she needs to go and help that poor person. So she started looking out from the window and she called for that beggar. She told him, "Hey, can you come closer to the house?" Then she went, she opened the door. Then she told him, "What do you need?" He told her, "Well, I'm hungry. I need clothes. You can help me with some food or some pennies." She went and she searched the whole house. She did not find a lot of food and she did not find any change. But she really wanted to help that man. So what she did, she went out and she took up her crown and she told him, "Take this crown and leave the city. But before you leave, I want you to promise me that you will always give back." Then he made that promise. He saw that crown. It's a lot of money already in his hand. Then he left. The husband, the cruel husband, came back that afternoon. And then he called for his wife, "Aisha, come here, my beautiful." And he saw her, so beautiful, but there is no crown. He told her, "Where's the crown? I gave it to you for the first place to wear it, not store it in the house. Go and bring the crown." Then she told him, "Well, I gave it away." "You did what? You gave away a crown? Stop joking and bring that crown. I want to see it in your head." She told him, "I swear to God, I gave it away. There was a beggar and he was really in need. We don't need that crown at the end of the day. It's just a luxury that we can give away." He told her, "No, it's my crown and they decide what to do with it." And he was shouting and screaming at her and like grabbing her by the hand and shaking her. Then he told her, "By which hand did you give that crown?" He told her, "Well, it's with my right hand." Then he brought his knife, and I'm sorry for the scene, he cut off her hand. And then he told her, "I'm going to kick you out of the house." And he took off all her fancy clothes and he gave her his old, shabby, dirty, rusty jalaba. He told her, "Now go away. You never come back to my house until you find the crown." So she left. So she kept walking, bleeding, until she was outside of the city. And then she was about to faint. Some travelers saw her, and then they decided to help her. "Where are you going?" She told them, "Well, I'm going anywhere new, any new city." Then they took her to another city. Then she was there. She was there. She did not know what to do. She's bleeding. She's hungry. She's tired. And here, luckily, she found a woman. That woman was also a beggar there. But here in that city, something was different. People really appreciated beggars. They treat them with respect. They gave them opportunities. So if you are a beggar, you will be respected. You will get money until you are on your feet again. So she met her and she decided to have her in her house. She took her to a hammam and she was feeding her good food. And here she told her, "Well, now you need to tell me your story. Where did you come from and why you are lacking a hand? I mean, you look beautiful and you look like someone who has not suffered for a long time." Then she told her the whole story with her cruel husband. And then that old woman told Aisha, well, you can stay at my place. We can both big, and whatever we get, we share it at the end of the day. And every week, we both go to the palace of the richest man in our city. And every week, every Friday, he will make very big event. He will give us food, money, and clothing. So that's what she did. The whole week she was helping that old woman, begging in the streets, making both ends meet, and then it's Friday. So our Aisha was in the queue, waiting for her turn to receive the money, the clothing, and the food. And here, that rich man, he saw her and he asked her, "Can you please come closer?" Okay, here she was in front of him. Uh, Can I ask you something? Are you from this city? She said, no. Well, when did you arrive? She told him a week ago. Then he told her, well, I have an offer for you. If you want, you can go and live in my palace instead of being in the streets. But here, Aisha told him, well, I came here with a lady and I cannot leave her alone. Then he told her, the lady can also go to my palace and live there. They accepted. So they both went to the palace. Then, after a fortnight, as that rich man was so busy, he had to meet Aisha. So he met her one day and he told her, can you please tell me your story? Then, she was hesitant at the beginning. She did not want to tell him everything. She does not know him. But she ended up telling him what happened and that she gave up a crown and her husband beat her for that and he kicked her out of the house. And here, he told her, but can't you really remember me? She kept looking closely at him, but she could not remember. Then he told her, well, I am that bigger man who was one day in front of your house and you gave him that crown. And all of this fortune is because of your crown. So all of this belongs to you. Then that beggar and that Isha, they decided to marry each other. So they married each other and they started running this charity project. So they were helping the poor, giving opportunities to people until one day, as Aisha was serving, the queue of women and her husband serving the queue of men, she could spot some familiar face. Yes, it's her husband, the cruel, harsh person. She saw him there queuing with people. So he must have lost it all. Now he's poor. Now he's waiting for some food and pennies. Then she went to her husband and she told him, that's my ex-husband. Then he told her, do you want me to take revenge? Do you want me to kick him out of the queue? I will never help him if you want. Then she told him, no. I want you to invite him to the palace. So she invited him. Then she was, her husband and her ex-husband started having this conversation. Why are you here? Why are you queuing with people? Where did you come from? Because you are a stranger. Then he told him, you know what? I had my wife and she dumped me and she walked away from the house and they spent all my money on her. I was looking for her until I was penniless. Then she came out from behind the curtains and she told him, shame on you. Look at yourself. Vulnerable, poor, and you still lying. Here, the ex-husband was shocked. She was, it's my wife. She was my wife. And I kicked her out with no money at all. And now look at her. She made it in life. And here he understood the lesson. He understood what he had done and how wrong he was. Then, of course, his ex-wife Aisha was kind enough to let him stay in that palace until he died, and everyone lived happily ever after. until the end of time. And this is the end of my story. Thank you so much.
Oh, my name is Hakima Mardi, a storyteller from Marrakesh Cafe Clock team. And my experience about storytelling start with my mom, referring to what Lucy said with the so my mom, she start like to teach us some stuff during tell us story, to not lie, and to a lot of lessons were like learned by storytelling. And since I was young, I was always my dream was to be a storyteller. And for now, the cafe clock helped us a lot to be what we are now, storytellers and mastering the storytelling. And I want to tell you a story, but first I want like I have the honor to join you to this lovely meeting and to read one of the lovely stories that I loved in your book, The Lost Storyteller, for from your book, as the birth of Sahara. A very, very long time ago, when the earth was very, very young, it was one huge garden covered in the beauty. There were tall palm trees, performed jasmine flowers. The song of nightingales floated the landscape with their gentle melodies. At this time, all men, women, and children were honest, loyal, trustworthy. In fact, the word lie did not even exist. But one day, someone told a lie. It was a very small lie of no importance, but it was the end of childhood for the human race. It was the end of the age of innocence for all the men, women, and children. Here, God brought all the men and all the women and all children on the earth together and said to them, each time one of you tells a lie, I will shall throw a grain of sand into the earth. The people looked at each other, shrugged their shoulders, and said to themselves, a grain of sand, what a difference will it make? You can hardly see a grain of sand. And, and a lie after lie, little by little, the Sahara gradually came into existence as a God threw a grain of sand into the earth from the heaven above. Here and there, where could still be seen the old oases, which were the traces of the original garden, because not all human beings lie. This is my first story for. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have a second story of a queen. This queen, this woman, this great woman that she thought to be what she wanted to be, even the injustice of the king. Once upon a time, far, far away from here, from everywhere that you have seen, there was a woodcutter. His name is Haman. Haman was a poor person. His job, he got 5 children and one wife, and his job couldn't feed everyone in his family. And for him, he was struggling every day. Remember this person, and let us jump to another day with another scene. One day, that was a rainy day. That was the king and queen were sitting next to in the castle, watching the beautiful view of the rain. Then the woodcutter passed by, and the king said, "Life is unfair, my queen. Life is unfair." Then the king said, then the queen said, "I'm wondering, sir. I'm wondering, my king, if this person has a great wife, you won't see him struggling today here." The king said, "So, am I a king because of you?" She said, front of every great king, there is a queen. And the king get mad. She told him, I only I only told you the truth. And the king get mad. The more the insistence of the queen, the more the king get mad and start to become mad and start to shout. And he told the soldiers to bring the woodcutter. So the woodcutters stood in front of him. He told him how many children do you have? He told him 5. Told him how many wives? He told him only one, sir. He looked at the queen and he told her, I divorce you, and you will marry this man. And the woodcutter was like, sir, but this is the queen. This is the queen, sir. And he told him, this is an order. You'll not bring nothing with you to that house, to your new house. You will go with no jewelry, no silk. And as as uh, as the queen told, she went with the woodcutter Human. As she was expected, the house was empty and cleaned, and the poor wife, Human's wife, was overworked with her children, who with 5 children. She helped them, and she cleaned the house. She organized everything, and she washed the kids, and everything was looking clean and organized again. Then she bring her the king a ring. That ring was a gift from her mom, a souvenir. She gave it to the woodcutter. She told him, took that ring and sell it and buy a donkey. He took the ring and he sell it and he buy a donkey. One day the donkey guided him in the forest to a wonderful place. And that place that was a tall, huge tree. And that tree was smells different, a beautiful perfume. And he cut it and he found a ring in the trunk of the tree. He pulled it and he found a golden box. He hid it and he went in hurry to the queen and he gave it to the queen. He told her, look at my queen, what I found. She told him, this is your money now. You will help your family and you will give some to the poor people. And as she told him, I want from you one thing. He told her, you order, my queen. She told him, I want to build a castle as the king has. And he did what she told him. He built a castle as the king has, and they invited the king. And the king went into the castle, and he was showing every detail, everything was the same as has in the castle. And he told him, who owned this castle? The woodcutter said, it's a woman. The curtains raised, and he saw his wife, the queen. Our king cried, and his eyes were full of guilt and regret and pain. He jumped and he hugged his king and his queen, and he told her, my queen, forgive me, forgive me. She told him, I will forgive you for one condition. It is, never underestimate the power of the women again. And they married and they lived happily everly after. This is the end of my story. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Oh, lovely people. That was a fine telling from a great storyteller. And whether they're in Morocco or just want to donate their funds to Morocco, put their hats going towards the Moroccan storytellers, anything would be incredibly appreciated, because those tellers down in Morocco, It's not come June, they'll look at their tax returns and decide what the government's going to go to them, and there's no social security and there's nothing there. They're just living on thin air, so anything you can put in the hat would be appreciated. Thank you. And however you're watching this, if you're watching it on something else, go to worldstorytellingcafe.com.